One. It's what is it? It's the 19th of November, and it's what time is it?
It's 6:15.
Hello, and welcome to Geeks on Screen with Coffee. And today's guest is Tracy, and I think we're there. Sorry, bit of a warm start, bit of a problem start. I was too relaxed at the beginning, didn't get everything ready. I apologise. And I think we're online. I think we're ready. Are we streaming? I can see us over there. Great. Welcome to Geeks on Screens with Coffee, Tracy.
Well, thanks for having me.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I've chosen a green. Rookie mistake. Because of the green screen. You know, I mean, it just... You actually, this looks all right to you, but on the camera that's streaming out, green just... Never mind. Oh, so how are you? I haven't seen you. Actually, what are you drinking? I even forgot to do that with Buck the other week.
Normally I'm drinking water, but when I drink something hot, I drink Irish tea.
What's Irish tea?
You know, Irish tea. You know, tea bags made in Ireland.
So, if someone said Irish tea to me, that's tea with some whiskey in.
No, this is just regular tea. You know, hot tea, just like, you know, the UK people drink, except it's made in Ireland. I had a couple of Ireland friends that they got me used to drinking hot tea at their house with milk in it. And when they moved off to Seattle, they left a little bit of tea behind, and then it didn't have a label on it. So I made them tell me what kind of tea I was drinking, and I ordered off of Amazon now.
You see, you use words like hot tea, and I think that really shows that. I presume when if I said tea to you, that means sweet iced tea.
Technically, yes, it does.
And so,
because I'm from the South in the U.S., so yes, it would mean sweet tea.
I was going to say lots of places have a South, but I can see that you're not in the UK, because I can see your plug sockets behind you, and they're sort of the one with a little mouth and the surprised eyes. No, that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, I don't remember what the ones look like in UK from when I was there. I still have my little adapter stuff.
We've got everyone says they're really ugly because they're sort of blocky and pointy. Is that just me? All right. Sorry, something just moved over there in my peripheral vision, something on Twitter, but I wasn't sure if that was meant for us. Actually, I haven't been watching the chat window. So there is a chat window. Let me see. Okay. So I'm just going to put a message over here. I am paying attention. So we met at, I'm going to say SQL Relay, but Data Relay. And we were both on and I won't say fun bus. I'll call it the data bus as it was called. But it wasn't the fun bus because there was no fun allowed on it.
Yes, we were on the fun bus for a week straight.
But no one really talked. So no one really talked to each other on the fun bus.
I was shy.
Well, I think
so. That's my excuse.
No, I think everyone. By the time everyone had
and
done,
we were tired.
Yeah, done that day stuff of, and then they were just kind of like, let's just get to the next place. Let's just do any prep, make any phone calls, listen to any music you need to chill out, and then get to the next place and then eat, and then back to do the whole thing again. I kind of, I didn't, I mean, that bit, it was tolerated it, but I really liked doing the 5 presentations in 1 week, the same presentation every day.
Yeah, I managed to actually do 7 and 8 days because I did Denmark and Holland on the back ends of SQL Relay.
Did you do the same presentation?
No, I did different ones in Denmark and Holland.
Okay, but you did 5, so we weren't going to talk about this. So this is where this is the beauty of this. right? There is no right and wrong answer. There's no direction that we need to go in. It just happens.
I
So,
did the same one at SQL Relay, but I did a different one in Denmark and then a totally different one in Holland.
so how did you find doing the same thing 5 days in a row? Now,
It's actually pretty good because it seemed to like improve it every time.
now,
And but it got a little boring after day 3. Just talking about the same thing, but it still seemed like it was improving and we had a good audience, so
did you
each stop, so
find that because each venue was very different. So
yes,
I
it
don't know if you
was.
remember, Birmingham was the cinema.
Yeah,
So
that one was way different. There was a lot of people in that room.
I had a very big screen with very few people in it.
I had probably 100 people in there.
I had hardly anyone in there, which is really bizarre. Yeah, there were other really good sessions on at the same time. It wasn't mine was unpopular. Mine was unpopular. But I found that like really bizarre. I mean, just in front of a cinema screen at the front, presenting kind of. I'm used to presenting to like smallish rooms, which are generally reasonably full. I don't want to blow my own trumpet.
Me
Just the
too.
smaller room, you can have 4 people in a room and it feel a bit crammed, especially when I go
That's
up.
what I'm used to as well. The cinnamon one was kind of way different. You were really small and you felt like you had to yell.
Yeah, I just found it really odd. I think that was kind of the worst day, I think, for me from presenting, and but I found that made a bigger difference. The room size and the whatever it was in the room, just to me, presenting, I found that the odd bit. Not, I found the content was the same, but I was adding bits to it. So I don't have the same presentation. It wasn't the same presentation every time. That might seem a bit wrong, but I don't do that big. So how do you write your presentation? Because you do a lot of presenting. So let's Tracy does a lot of stuff. You do a lot of you're an MVP.
Yes, newly minted MVP as of August.
You do a lot of you do a huge amount of presenting as SQL Relay, Data Relay, whatever. Going all around the world presenting. You recently did what did you do? I watched there was TriPASS. You did a podcasty thing. You did a group buy.
Yeah, I just did Summit. I've done several user groups. I've done a bunch of online SQL Saturdays this year. I did a couple in person before the pandemic hit. So, like the last 2 years, I think I did 18 SQL Saturdays each year.
But how do you prepare and write your presentations?
Well, first I put the slide deck together, then I put the demos together, and then I go present. I don't actually practice.
Okay, but how do you pick a topic?
That's the hard part. I don't know how I actually pick a topic. Normally it's something I'm working on at work. Like, for example, Query Store, we started working on it when we were in the CTP phase of implementing 2016 into our environment. So I was really interested in Query Store and what it could do. So I decided I would write a presentation on it, and it would force me to learn what it could do. So then I just have added to it what 2017 can do, and now I've got more stuff to add to it that 2019 can do as of Summit. So
okay, so it's really the presentation comes first, and then kind of the slides. So the idea comes, and then I'll put that together, rather than some people are, it comes from work, what you're doing, rather than because some people go, I think I'll learn that, and then to learn it, they'll write a presentation. So if you're good enough to present it and teach, then you know it pretty well.
Yeah. Because like I did one on monitoring AGs. We started using AGs at work, so it's like, well, I need to learn how to learn this really well. So we were already a month or two in, and I was like, this sounds like a good topic. So
Okay. It's just interesting. And so you don't prepare. You go in cold, you don't do any warm-ups,
no.
So, all right. So how do you know it's going to be an hour or 50 minutes long or whatever?
Well, when I'm writing it, I'm sort of saying it in my head as I go along. So, and I reviewed a slide deck several times, so I got good at guessing that would be an hour long.
Okay. I mean, that's a skill in its own right. I mean, I never quite. I mean, I'll level with you. I don't do the. I kind of have the idea, and if I really enjoy it, so one of the things about SQL Relay was I was having fun doing the session, and it almost didn't matter that the audience was there, because as long as I was enjoying it, then that was the key bit. And it was something that I knew quite a lot about, SQL and Linux, and I was quite, enthusiastic about it. I enjoyed it. I wanted to learn more about it. So I was just sharing a few bits about it. So it was just kind of like, what can I do in an hour? And I think, and I always overdo it. I always write more than I can do.
I've done that before and just cut it short, and but then I just talk faster the next time so I can squeeze it in.
But then it's hard to have then an arc. So there's like a technique of having an arc over the presentation, right? We've got to get to the end, and then there's a story, isn't there? It's beginning, middle, and end. Yeah. If the end is on, you haven't got to the end. That's kind of a bit disappointing. So I ended up writing stuff short, so I could go off track.
Yeah, I tried to leave about 10 minutes in mine just so people can ask questions at the end, is what I try to do now. And if it ends 10 minutes early, worst case scenario, and nobody has any questions, then they get an extra 10-minute break.
Woo!
And I usually have people that ask questions, so it's a little bit different virtually because you don't get as many people asking questions. So that's been a little rougher as far as presenting my content because there's just not as many people ask questions virtually for some reason.
So how do you find the remote stuff in comparison to the in-person stuff?
I don't like it nearly as much. I do it nearly as much as I did the in-person stuff, but it's just like you have no audience to feed off of to see if anybody's paying any attention at all. You can't lob out, a question or a quiz to somebody and see if anybody knows the answer to something and keep them engaged. And I know my latest talk, it was meant for engagement with the audience and to get them talking, and it's just I still do it remotely, but it's just like not the same.
No, you can't generate that energy. It's very hard to do that sort of online, and because people can just turn off. Although what I have found is that and I did it more for work, but I presented to Data Scotland, the Glasgow user group, where there weren't that many people there, probably only a handful, but in Teams, because you can see their names down the bottom, I could actually direct stuff to people. So using their names. And you tend to find...
been in a virtual one where I can see people's names. So.
So how do you normally present? So you don't use Teams? You'd be
No, I've never used Teams to present. People send a WebEx or a Zoom or something like that, and then I can only see like myself and the person running it.
Oh, okay. Because Zoom, you can have an audience type thing in Zoom.
Most of the time, it's a WebEx though. So.
Okay. Is that more a US thing, or is that just because I work for Microsoft, so I will be pushing Teams all the time?
I think that's more a PASS thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because that's what they use for their virtual groups, and I think that's what they pass down to local user groups to use. Or,
I mean, Teams and other web conferencing software is available.
We know.
I mean, you could even use Teams if you like. I mean, Zoom gives you 40 minutes unless you pay for it, and that's still good enough. But yeah, that cutoff is probably challenging for conferences and that type of thing. So so you presented at PASS. So I mean, just a little behind the scenes magic. Tracy and I had a little chat before about these are the things I might ask you about and what shouldn't I talk to you about, and none of what we're talking about came up. Really, I was going to ask you about some other things. We'll get back onto those.
But when you bring up PASS, one thing might come up.
Well, yes. So what I was going to ask is on PASS, you presented at Summit.
Yes.
And was that live or was that pre-recorded?
It was pre-recorded.
So now that's even more isolating when you pre-record.
Yes, it is. I actually put myself on mute so I couldn't hear myself during my presentation, because I know that one even better than I know the rest of them, because it's on mental health. And then I just took care of the questions. And then I talked to a few people afterwards. You had a Q&A for 15 minutes, and a few people popped in there on video and asked some questions. So
okay, so when the session was going out, were you moderating it, and then when people had questions you could answer them interactively?
Yes.
Okay. Did you present at SQL Bits?
No.
Okay, because that's pretty much the same thing. And that worked really well. So how did that work for your session? Because I think if you do a technical session, people ask questions and they'll go, "Oh, what did that mean?" Or when you skip this, or what was that? But if you're doing a session on mental health, then I mean, there's still a lot of stigma attached to mental health in general, and in fact, probably just illness in general, and probably more mental health. So how did you find? Were people asking any questions, or did people just leave it to the end where they could talk to you sort of one-on-one?
I had, I think, just 2 questions, and one was from like a manager wanting to be able to talk to his employee about something they seen and how to approach the employee. And then the same guy popped into the video chat too.
So do you do that?
And then people were mainly the people that popped into the video chat were just thanking me for the presentation.
All right.
So
what was that presentation on and about? Because that's quite it's quite a big word, a prescient, yeah, topic. Because we're in a pandemic, people are at home, they kind of just, especially if you're working, you might not. I mean, I sometimes don't even leave the house, barely shower, but that's normal. I'll get out of the house to walk the dog, and go to the shops like once or twice a week, but that's about it, and that's the only time I see humans.
Well, I actually started that presentation before the pandemic. I started it last December, and I started it because of stuff I've been through, because I have bipolar. So and I had a really bad year in 2018 that actually landed me in the hospital and stuff. And then I did some research on IT and the number of people that have mental health issues. And like in the UK, there's a survey that was done by, I can't remember the name of the company that did it. And there's like 48% of people reporting having anxiety or depression on their jobs in IT. It's 42% in the US. So it's just like people are having problems at work in IT, and I have problems. So I thought I would speak out about it and try to kill some of the stigma around it and give people advice on things they can do. And then I even added a section on there on how to handle the COVID stuff, like 7 areas in your life you try to maintain so that you can try to, survive the darn pandemic, as I put it in the slide, because I can't say curse words.
Oh, you can say whatever you like. You can.
That's what the slide deck says. So.
You can swear as much as you like on this pod chat show thing, as long as it's not in English. But you can swear in American; it'd be fine. You can say dong and dang and I'm not sure what other curse words that you could possibly have that we would find cute and yet not offensive. I'm trying to think of something that doesn't translate very well. I think, is it nappy? Doesn't translate very well.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So that would a diaper.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Oh, I digress again. Where were we? Mental health. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, not cursing. So have you? How many times have you done that presentation?
I'd probably say 6 to 8 times. So I did it for Data Weekender. I've done it for a couple user groups. I did it for the first 2 SQL Saturdays I went to. I did it for one virtually at least. So I'd have to count it on my website to know how many times I've done it.
And most of the
I
times,
look at my MVP list of activities.
Oh,
One
yeah.
and two.
Well, I did look at your MVP page. I wasn't stalking you, honestly, but I thought I would. I have to do. I mean, I don't know these people that I talk to, so I do a bit of research to make sure that I kind of, I've got something sensible to talk to you about, and I know that you've done. So I was looking, and there's a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot. There was at least 8 pages and 10 things on each page.
Yeah, in 1 year.
Yeah. You've been a very busy DBA.
And there is some stuff hidden.
Okay.
I hid all my PRs to DBA tools and DBA checks just because they were small things. So
I add them in.
I'll give you like 4 more pages. And seriously, it was like, I did a lot of stuff with DBA checks last year. So I was like, I had each PR listed. And it was just like, there was like 100, I think I submitted 110 things when I submitted my MVP application. So it's like, I hit a few things.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the thing is, I guess for that, you want to make sure that you have, that you show how good you are. If you're modest and, I guess there's a possibility that you don't get it next year or the following year or whenever. So you have to add it all in, I think.
Yeah, I did add it in for the MVP itself, but I hid them from public
the
view.
public,
So
yeah. But it's kind of interesting because, I mean, we'll go back to the presentation because I'm quite interested in that, because there's some other things you do that's on your bio page. But you co-authored a book. Can I say co-authored or authored?
Co-authored, yeah.
You can say you authored a book, can't you? But with someone else? Is there a subtle difference?
There is a subtle difference. Grant tells me the book's all mine anyways, but
I mean, if you said that, it's all yours. Yeah. Tough.
He tries to say I did most of the work. I'm like, I did 6 chapters, you did 4,
That is most. Yeah, that's most. Yeah, of course that is. And well, your chapter's longer as well and more detailed. Less spelling mistakes, no? Depends how much time the editor had to spend on his chapters and the proofreaders.
Well, we had to proofread it at the end too, so.
Yeah, but it's quite hard. You can't proofread your own work, so you had to proofread his.
Well, after I done turned mine in May, and I didn't have to proofread it until August, I could proofread all of it.
Oh, okay. I mean, how long did it take you to write it? I mean, I don't know how big the book is, but how long did it take you to get through it?
Well, technically, I was in the process of starting it when I was at SQL Relay. But, I was kind of busy at SQL Relay, and then Summit happened, and I had, all the SQL Saturdays I was doing. So I don't think I really started it really well until December.
And then how long did it take? Because, I mean,
I finished my 6 chapters in May, but they want them like every 2 weeks. And I just wasn't able to do it that quickly with everything else I was doing.
Well, because you've got a day job.
Yeah, a day job, a few volunteer jobs, you know.
Yeah, well,
SQL Saturdays every couple weeks.
yeah, there's not much time for. Well, I don't know how you fit it in. So on your bio, now I'm going to use you're part of is that, oh, I can't read my own handwriting. Is that the North Carolina?
Guardian of Litem program.
Yes, yeah. So what's that? Because I had a quick look at the website.
Yeah, that's where I volunteer for abused and neglected children in the foster care system as their advocate in court. So I go out and I visit. Right now I can only visit with the child in person. Used to we could visit everybody on the case in person, but with COVID for like 5 months we couldn't even do that much. We had to do everything by phone or by computer. And I investigate the whole case as far as what the parents are doing, if you know they're doing anything on their case plan to get the children back. I see how they're doing at school, see how they're doing in therapy, how they're doing medically wise. So it's a big job.
Yeah, and that's a volunteer, so that's on top of all the other things you do.
Yeah. Like I spent 4 hours just driving to see 2 kids this weekend. Well, one was an hour west of me, and then I came back home, and the other one was an hour east of me. So they don't place them necessarily in the same city that they were taken in. So.
And so that you'll go to court, and that you'll effectively be an adult representing them, and
yeah, basically the child's voice in court, and the community's eyes on the situation for the judge.
Because I've never really
I write a court report and everything just like the social worker does, with recommendations on what should happen with the case.
I've never known anybody that does that, and it's in the UK. I mean, it must happen. I mean, it must happen a lot everywhere, but that's really that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 18 years now, and I got 54 kids. That's going to be my number when you get to the book. Random questions.
Okay, well, okay, all right.
You're not there yet, but
all right. Don't rush me. We'll get there.
I'm not rushing you. I'm just sorry I picked my number based on how many kids I represented.
And there was something else, which was the PAIMI, which is
the PAIMI Council for Disability Rights in North Carolina. That stands for the Protection and Advocacy of Individuals with Mental Illness. Right. So after I was in the hospital in 2018, I did not like that experience or that hospital. No one did. Because I needed medical treatment while I was there that I did not get. And by the time they ordered me to get certain medical treatment because they thought my foot might be broke, they never did do anything about it while I was there. So they're just incompetent. So I wanted to see if there was something I could do to help out other mentally ill people in the community. And I had a former foster parent that's on the committee suggest this to me. And so I applied for it and did it. And we meet 4 times a year, and we basically help set up policies that the Disability Rights of North Carolina uses to decide what they're going to work on the most for the year for the mentally ill people in our state.
So what drives you? Because obviously you've got your job, you've got all your technical, your geeky presenting stuff, which is fun, I presume. And then you've got all this other stuff you do. I guess there can't be much time for anything else.
Yeah, there's got to be some time for something else, I think.
It doesn't sound like there's much time for anything else. So what drives you in that? Is it stuff that happened in your past, or is it just stuff that if something goes wrong, you feel you've got to fix it?
The foster kid stuff back is from my past. I grew up abused and neglected from my parents. Well, from my mom and my stepfather, and nobody ever did anything about it. So, and when I got into about 24, 25, I was looking for something I could do to help other people that had been in that situation. So that's what I came up with, and I've been doing it ever since.
Oh,
And
that's
then, the mental health piece, I've got bipolar and anxiety and complex PTSD from my childhood. So, it seemed like after I was put in the mental hospital in 2018, it might be time to make sure people were actually treated respectfully in a mental hospital.
sorry. I should have
And
given you the safe word. So if there was anything that you didn't want to discuss, so
hey, I'm fine.
before we try and arrange that if we touch anything that kind of people don't want to talk about, we'll say next, or Vatican cameos, whichever someone prefers. No one said it yet, but feel free.
I'm fine. I'm fine. And plus I just I've identified a long time ago. I read this book by Brene Brown. I think it's called Dare to Lead, and she had a section in there that you help identify your core values. And the two I narrowed it down to was making a difference and perseverance. So by volunteering, I'm making a difference, even just with presenting, because I'm helping other people learn. And then helping the foster kids, I'm making a difference. And family council, I'm making a difference. So, that's just what I like to do.
Well, I mean, that all takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of commitment to time. That even goes to writing a book, because that takes a lot of commitment and perseverance. Stuff that
That one took a lot of perseverance.
stuff that's a quality of personality that I lack. I am very shallow, and I will flip flop very quickly. And I don't have that. I've thought about it, and I have this admiration for anyone who can do it, but I really struggle with that. So it is quite, there is something about talking to people who do that and saying, like, what drives that, what pushes that need. How can you find that time when I will just laze around and not do that thing? Because I'm a terrible human being.
Things are just important to me. So
yeah.
This is important as living to me. So
yeah, well, it's I mean, everyone is different. It's just, so I like to see that in people, and to drill into that and say, like, what pushes that, because that's something that I should change about myself. Because you are making me feel terrible. You spend all that time working with children, and that time with mental health. I've written a book, do all these presentations, travel around the world, and here I am, just talking to people on YouTube. It's really just not quite the same, is it? Not the same level of magnitude or impact. I realised a long time ago that my job is pretty pointless. No one, and the things I do, I could have changed it, but my mum used to be a nurse, and that is important because you are looking after people. But doesn't anyone care if that data? No one dies if that database doesn't go any faster, or you haven't done this or done that, or people are annoyed.
DocuSign has this phrase where they want to know if you're doing the work of your life there. And I always say, yeah, you're supporting the work of my life by paying me so I can do all this other stuff. That's my answer every year.
But it's good that they're I
haven't gotten in trouble for it yet.
No, but then that's by empowering you to do that, effectively by paying you well enough that you can go off and do those things, or allowing you that extra time off, or whatever you need, that flexibility that you have. Because you're a DBA, or a dev DBA, or a kind of what kind
mainly a DBA, so yeah.
So so that involves what? Out of hours calls, working odd times, because so trying to plan your life around that must be quite hard, because if you're doing shift work, or there's a problem and you've got to work all night to get that database back up and running because the company's going to lose X million because you haven't done it. You've got to go and do it. You can't just go, oh no, I've got this other thing happening.
Yeah, very true.
It is so you were on, what else have I on TriPASS, which was a chat, like a podcast thing that was online.
Yep, just yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Sorry, I should have checked the date because I was going.
Oh no, 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
I've never heard of TriPASS.
That's our local user group.
Oh, okay.
I'm a co-leader in it.
It looks really good. I mean, it's just the production values on it. Well, certainly.
Yeah. Kevin does a pretty good job with that.
I was quite jealous, unfortunately.
He's
sorry.
He's got the stuff. He does it through Twitch, and I think he uses OBS, and I don't know. He records training classes too, so he's probably got a lot of more expensive stuff than what we have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Twitch is free, OBS is free. If you've got decent hard, it's the skill, isn't it? It's that skill of
yeah.
I've never been able to do good user interfaces. I do the stuff behind the scenes, which is why databases are great.
Yeah.
I can't.
We can just hide.
I don't have to. I don't care what color it is or whether that is in which font size that in. Someone else can fiddle with that and play with that. You know, is it doing the right thing? Are the numbers right, etc. You know, does it work? That's what I'm interested in. I was asking, what have you got? Oh, I did see something, and I'm going to mention it. It says on your bio you were using SQL Server 6.5.
Yes.
Right? When was the last time you used SQL Server 6.5?
Let's see. I've been away from that company for 7 years, so about 8 years ago.
8 years
This
ago.
company I was at literally had one system that was on 6.5. I tried to pretend like it didn't exist because I didn't have any install media to fix it. And it ran, and there's no user databases on it, and it must use all temp tables to do whatever it does because there's no databases in master, on tables in master. I don't know, but they can't ship product without it.
Wow. I mean, that.
They've upgraded it since then.
Wow. I mean, I looked at 6.5 a long time ago, put it on a VM, and then I got really confused because you can't right click. You know, everything is left click because in those days the right mouse button didn't exist.
Yeah, it's a little painful. It's in a cluster at least, so if one goes down, the other side will keep it up.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, I pretended it didn't exist. I had a spreadsheet list of all our servers for my boss, and those weren't on there.
6.5 only switched over if the services stopped on one. Effectively, if one of the machines stopped because it needed to attach to those files on the shared storage. Ah, the good old days.
I know that, and they don't auto grow or anything, so it's just like, there it is. I don't know it's there.
Well, yeah, and if anyone looked at it now, they wouldn't even know. I mean, I wouldn't remember even how to start it, log into it, do stuff, because there was no management studio as such. It was the same thing. There was no kind of query window. You did everything from this really nasty user interface.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had to mention 6.5 as you do, because yeah, that's where I started.
I started there back in 1999, but it's the last time I did it, so I had to. So that would be 2013, 2012.
2013, 2012. I mean, that's so unsupported. It is untrue.
I tried to tell them.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if it runs and they don't have any problem with it, then is there any need to upgrade? But I'm sure they could have made something work in 7 or 2000.
I don't know. They still had a lot of 2000 machines when I left that company too.
Ouch. As long as it wasn't MSDE. Why does no one remember MSDE? It was the original version of Express that was built. Oh, sorry, I'm showing my age, aren't I?
Yeah, we still had some 2005 Express machines, but not just 2000 ones.
Yeah, because Express only came in with 2005.
Yeah. So we got some freebies out of that. Scheduling jobs was fun to make sure we got backups, but hey.
What you can do now is you can put that onto a Kubernetes cluster and you can make it highly available.
Ooh, nice.
Because you put it in a pod and then if something happens, the pod will just restart.
Cool.
It doesn't need to be in its own, because it's you don't have to have many machines, in a proper sort of Kubernetes cluster with all the cool stuff that's in 2019 and 2017 that makes high availability work. You can just have that Express. I'll put it on a node. When something breaks or destroys, it'll just start up again.
Cool.
Oh, let me see. I was going to ask, so when are you next doing stuff online? So when can people find you? If people want to see your presentation on mental health or anything else you're presenting on?
Well, I'm presenting at DPS, the mental health session, at the first week of December. I'll also be presenting it the next week on, I want to say the 8th, for the GLASS user group in Michigan.
GLASS user group?
I think that's what they're called.
Okay.
It's up near Lansing. When I looked them up, it still said GLASS on the PASS site, so but it's just near Lansing in Michigan. And then I'm presenting a different session to Richmond on 2 days later.
I kind of forget how popular PASS is and chapters are in the US. Because it's not really something. The user groups in the UK most of them are PASS chapters, or a lot of them are, but kind of I guess you don't really think about that kind of.
Well, I presented to the Glasgow user group one time over in Europe, remotely.
Well, they're trying to get to. There's a website that tries to list all the events in the UK.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's like data platform or something, data pack or something .community. I don't know what it is.
And there is a website. They're listing the US as well. There is a website that's listing, like, trying to do everything in the community for the data platform.
There's more than data platform out there. There should be one for everything, but I think it's just too hard to maintain and keep everybody doing it, and such a and it's not something I'm too lazy to be get into that. We
already discussed that part.
Yeah, we've been there, haven't we? All right, I'm gonna do 2 questions. The first one to think about is who to nominate next for the conversations. Oh my god, I can't believe we almost got to the end and I didn't ask you, what's your favorite cheese?
I'm just gonna go with cheddar cheese. So plain.
Are we talking sliced American?
Yes. Cheddar cheese. Not American cheese. That's nasty.
Well, cheddar from
there is
cheddar.
American cheese.
Yeah, you're allowed to make cheese in America.
I know, but the American cheese itself is nasty.
That's sort of
They literally have American cheese. Blech.
I think we would call Kraft slices, which were like they're basically like individually wrapped pieces of.
Those.
I used to eat those when I was younger.
I did when I was younger too, but I don't now. Now I know what real cheese tastes like.
I'm sure some people would say that cheddar wasn't real cheese.
They might.
Okay, sorry. Who to nominate next? But while you're thinking about that, we will do the Richard Herring emergency questions. Now, I know which number you want. Are you familiar with Richard Herring?
No.
52 for 52. No one has. All right. So don't worry. You just. As this shows how unique I am. No one else. So 18. All right. 18. What 18 will be?
I said 50,
What was it?
54.
54. Why did I think 18? 54.
Because 18 is the number of years I've been a guardian ad litem. 54 is the number of kids.
Okay. Well, we can have them both because that one is just ridiculously strange. And I think that would be quite a fun one. And 54. Okay. All right. This I don't know where this one is going to go. It could go down really well or it could bomb. Okay. So this is the question. I once burped during a minute's silence at an Ascension Day service. What is the most audacious thing you did at school during a minute's silence? I don't know. Would you have minute silences in the US at school?
No.
Any sort of quiet moments at school? No. Okay, we'll throw that one away. We'll go with this one because this is equally ridiculous, but yet slightly dark. Which celebrity would you like to stroke your hair as you die? And the example is so, and this reference probably makes no sense to you. I think I would choose Bouncer from Neighbours or Goldie from Blue Peter. They were both dogs. So, or we can go for another number. We could Vatican cameo that and go for something else. If you could choose one thing your armpit could dispense, what one thing would it be? No?
What would it be? How about soda? That way I don't have to go to the refrigerator and get any.
But it wouldn't be cold, would it? It'd be body temperature. And would it be that carbonated drinks coming from your armpit? Would that be that comfortable?
No, it wouldn't. But what else would you dispense that would be comfortable?
Maybe some sun cream. Maybe some hair gel. I don't know.
I don't even drink soda, so.
All right. Let's try something. Try another number. So this is the level that it's at.
We have to go to 4 of them.
We have to do how many? What, 4?
4.
You want number? You want number 4? They go to 1,001. So. Oh, okay. All right. So this is quite a famous. These all come from a podcast where he asks a question. So we'll go off topic and we'll ask one of these questions. Have you ever seen a Bigfoot?
On TV.
Okay. Was it a Bigfoot or was it a Sasquatch?
That's a good question.
Because I think
They're the same thing, aren't they?
no, I think Bigfoot is North America, and I think the Sasquatch is from the Himalayas.
There is places named Sasquatch up in Washington, though.
Ah, maybe the Sasquatch is after them. But so you haven't seen a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch?
No.
All right. We'll do one more question before you nominate someone. I'm trying to think of a question that might elicit a slightly longer answer than no. But the only one I can think of is, have you ever seen a ghost? But I think I know the answer.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go for something else.
What would be a long answer? What would be something? Oh, have you ever flown a kite?
A kite? Yes, I've thrown it in the air and flown a kite.
And so, was that when you were younger, or was that a recent experience?
When I was younger at the beach,
And did you lose the kite at the beach, or did you take
it
it
did
home?
it did like to go in the ocean a lot, but I did take it home.
Okay, we did fly. I flew a pocket kite at the beach, and we lost it because it was too windy.
Mine was pretty wimpy, but it did survive.
I
I don't know how.
I did have a proper kite, and I don't know if I've still got it. It could be in the loft somewhere. It's one of those things that you just don't really get out. You kind of like you'll have for a period, and you go, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like when I won a drone, I like flew it one time and that's it.
So you've got a okay. Well, we didn't do the MVP questions, but one of the MVP questions is, what's the best thing you've had from a conference?
Can it be something that I won?
Yeah, could be a free thing you got given.
My Google Wi-Fi system.
You won a Google Wi-Fi system.
Yes. Thing's worth $300. That's the best thing I got for free. I had a streak of winning almost a prize at every SQL Saturday back in 2018. Like they were like, all the people in America were like, how do you keep winning? And I kept pointing to my boss because he was from Ireland and saying he's my lucky charm.
So racist. So racist against the leprechauns. That's terrible. I'm sure you can get away with it. I never win. So the thing is, you have to enter the competitions to win them, and most people just don't bother.
Well, that one was like the survey to say how the event went. So they handed it to me. I filled it out, not knowing there was a prize attached to it. So
Yeah, you must have wound a lot of people up. I think I went to one conference where the same person won twice, and it's like, what's going on? You can't give them another prize. And we thought they would do the honourable thing of saying, no, I've won a prize. But no, yay! Went up, got the second prize, and then left. People are terrible. Right, so who do you think I should talk to next? Who would you like to nominate?
I say Marsha Pierce.
Marsha Pierce. I don't know her. Could you do? I assume Marsha is a lady.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
She works for Pure Storage.
Pure Storage. Oh, okay. I don't really know much about storage apart from it's cheap in the cloud.
Don't worry, she has plenty of other stuff she can talk about.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she knows
She's a
more.
very fascinating person to talk to.
Oh, okay. You happy to do some introductions then?
Yes.
Lovely. All right. Well, Tracy, thank you for spending some of your afternoon with me.
Yep. Afternoon. Yep.
What time is it? In
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Oh, okay. So it's just after lunch then. And
Yep.
well, thank you. And it's been fun. Been lots of fun. And I'll try and catch your presentations online. So I'll put in the tip when the next thing is happening.
Okay.
And just a link to kind of your MVP profile and stuff in not the comments, the bit below the description. That's the word I'm looking for. Description. I can speak well English, can I? All right. Thank you all for watching. Oh, I was someone's on next week. Do you mind if I plug next week just before the end?
No. Go ahead.
I'm terrible at them. Ah, I haven't got it on that screen. Oh, that's rubbish. All right. I think it's JP from South Africa. He runs one of the groups in South Africa, one of the SQL user groups. So I'm speaking to him, and I'm speaking to someone else. Oh, I'm terrible. Sorry. I don't even know who I'm talking to.
Once you don't start talking to yourself, you'll be fine.
It's when I stop talking to myself, that's when I know I'm in trouble. All right. Thank you all for watching. All right. Take care and see you next week.